Hey guys, this is
Sidechatz.
Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing tips, do's, and don'ts for first dates. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
May goes first.
Me? I know nothing.
Exactly.
And these do's and don'ts can be from our perspective, from what we would expect or hope the date to be doing. So we'll see how this goes.
I have a first tip. It's a bit controversial since we've had this discussion before, but it's gonna be a date. Make sure it's a date by asking, do you want to go on a date with me first? It gotta be clear. For example, some people just say, oh, do you want to go watch a movie? I don't consider that a date unless you ask, do you want to go on a date with me to the movies? Then it's a date. It gotta be clear.
I'm not mad at that. You sound like you just want something very explicit. You want it to be very clear. That's cool. To me, that is a date, but it doesn't discount the idea of if I were to hang out with somebody who there seems to be a mutual vibe going, which is why I asked you to the movies or asked you out to go to eat, and then we go on that interaction, and at the end of it, like let's say a kiss were to happen, in my head that's a date. Like we just went on a date. That was our first date. If something goes on after that, those are also dates.
I'm gonna counter that. I think the date aspect comes from the initial intention. For example, a friend and a friend went on a hangout, like they were like, oh, let's go grab movies. But then in some way there was chemistry that they've never known before. I would still say that's a hangout, but it just turned to something more. It wasn't like a date initially. This can be different for everyone, but I think the intimate aspect with a date is that it was thought about. Like they had the thinking like, oh, I'm gonna plan this, I want this to be good. We've had hangouts before and like, I think this time I wanna be, it doesn't even be like, oh, serious, like, oh, this date is like, I wanna be boyfriend, girlfriend with them. It's just something next level, but you're both aware rather than just assuming.
I feel like it's always good to state your intention, at least be clear with somebody, because if there is chemistry that is developed during the hangout, someone in the party can easily back out and leave the other person feeling terrible, coming in with assumptions, right? And then it turns out that it isn't what they thought. There's a lot of room for miscommunication if intentions aren't clear.
I 100% agree. I also believe that c'est la vie. Like that so is life. Sometimes like
Doesn't work out.
Sometimes it don't work out. Somebody's left feeling a little awkward because they put their foot out there and it wasn't reciprocated. From May's point initially, I agree. It could easily be considered not a date, and I believe that in that instance, in which, let's say me and a friend are doing something like going out to the movies, XYZ. Let's say our friendship, we would often go to the movies. Therefore, it's not a date. Like we're just doing something that we would normally do.
Let's say it's not often.
For that, I'd say we're going to a carnival. And then now while you're going at that carnival, you get on a Ferris wheel, like y'all are looking at each other differently. You know, you're going to the top, all of a sudden you're like, it's a kiss. The rest of that's now gonna be a bit more enhanced. It doesn't have to.
So you would consider that a date?
Yes, in that instance, yeah. Once you reach that level, now it's an entirely new situation. As long as it's not two friends doing just things that friends would do, then to me it has the grounds on becoming a date if things were to transpire.
Let's say I told someone I'm going to the carnival with like a friend, and when it finishes and nothing happens, they're gonna be like, oh, how was the hangout? But if we kiss, they're still gonna ask, oh, how was the hangout? Not the date. So it was initially a hangout. It's like, I wouldn't say that just immediately turned to like a date.
Introducing two friends also makes it a bit murkier, but at the same time I hear what you're saying. For some reason, when it comes to two people who like might be interested in each other, maybe they've been flirting, XYZ, if I ask that person, let's go get something to eat where we've never done that before, and now we're going there and we're feeling the vibe, everything's cool, we get to the end, I'm putting my arm around you, like I'm curling, bro, come on now. Like, that's a date.
Okay, what do you think, Pablo?
No, you said it perfectly.
People have like different personal boundaries when it comes to stuff like that too.
I guess there's two different definitions of date. Some people make it clear, some people don't. But I'm surprised by your answer because you were definitely on their wavelength.
My thing is that, actually we can go into my do. Mine is pretty similar to yours.
Okay.
They don't have to necessarily say outright that it's a date, but I think that feelings should be told or something.
Talked about?
Yeah,
Okay.
like before you go on a date or something, you should be like, I like hang out with you, I see something happening, let's hang out, or something like that. I feel like there should be something to give the person that you're asking on a date or like a hangout.
Okay, makes sense.
I'm not against it, that makes sense. So for mine, it's something very simple, very easy. Pack a mint. Have a mint handy. Mainly because if you're going on a date and your breath is stinky, I'm sorry, that is the first thing anybody notices. Like, I know that's the first thing you'll see. And like if you really like, if you're eating something and it's a little garlicky, it has a little onion in it, it's okay, nothing wrong with it. Eat your food, but just have that mint handy because nobody really wants to have that one-on-one close discussions when your breath is a little hot.
Are you speaking from experience?
It really be for me or for some people I'm gonna get with. Like, Either way, it's a good rule of thumb.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The minimum.
Oh, mine?
Please.
Always have backup plans. Or like, say you went out to eat, that place is packed, always have like 1 or 2 other places.
Okay.
That doesn't work.
That's a good one.
I thought he was gonna go a different route.
Me too. I was like, oh, if it goes bad, bail.
No, I low-key thought he was saying have homegirl number 2.
Okay, that's
Okay,
good.
that's good.
A good one.
That's a good one.
What would be your usual backup plan?
Depending on the area we're going to. So say we're going like North End, 1 or 2 places like around the corner.
What if all the restaurants are like super packed that day?
I would usually make a reservation like a couple of days before.
My next tip, from my experience, or what I want, or
You're the one that has it written down.
for me, I guess I'm someone that wants to do something fun. Like I'm not a big sit down dinner type person for like a first date.
So what's next? Sorry, finish it.
Yeah, somewhere we can like move around. If it's like the summer, a festival or like carnival or something. I like moving around, even if that means like taking a walk, grabbing some boba. Nothing like an interview type setting. I don't like that vibe.
Agreed.
I like a good dinner, you know? I like to sit and chat.
I like to eat. I'm a hungry hippo.
I personally don't mind dinners, but I don't like movies.
Movies as a first like 3 or 4 dates is a little crazy. But
I kind of agree. You're focused on one
Yeah,
thing.
that's true.
Yeah,
And,
like,
like-
you can't talk to anybody. Like, why would you pick that to be a first date?
But what would be something fun that you would go for then?
Didn't I just say?
What would date?
Just like walk around. I think that's fine.
Walking around?
Like, you know,
Yo, man, I'm outside. Let's go.
exploring different places, like trying different foods, like walking and like picking up food.
yeah, bro, I feel like she says that, bro. But they said, let's go on a date, man. She pulls up with fucking heels and a dress. Let's go walk around. What are we talking about, man?
That would only be for like dinner dates. If it's a first date, I don't want to overdo it and wear like heels, you know. Why am I trying so hard when I'm getting to know you? It looks like I'm coming off.
That's
I
a
want them
crazy state.
so
That's a
bad.
crazy state.
I thought you were supposed to put your best foot forward.
We
Yeah.
want to get to know each other first. Like we're not like tight yet. I don't want them to be uncomfortable where they're like, "What is she doing?"
I don't want to scare you off.
Oh.
I can put that fit on.
We're kind of on the same wavelength today because my second one is if you really like this person and you want to leave a lasting impression, don't choose a basic date. So like don't choose to go to a dinner or like
Just
a
so-
bowling or
Take
like
me,
something.
take me to Aruba.
It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You could do something unique. Like go
A
to
walk.
if you shut up. You could plan a date that's catered to something that they like.
But this is the first date. You don't know what their interests are.
We'll say that you've been friends with this person for a while. So you already know that you kind of like this person. Plan something a little unique. Make a rug together. There are special...
She still said spend a pin on me, bro. Now that she trying to spend a pin on me. You know how expensive those rug things are,
She
bro?
said
For
create a rug.
$35. But anyway,
Nah, bro.
Is it 35?
yes.
Make a rug?
Yeah, a tiny little rug.
Wait, hold on. Are y'all
I think
serious?
they're
Yeah.
showing Austin.
Are you about to take
Yo,
note?
we might have to go, bro.
Do your research.
What do you search for that? Like, how do you find
Niche spots in
Boston.
Like,
Take
I don't know,
another
if she
one.
likes cooking, sign up for a cooking class. If she likes candles, do a candle making class, something.
My second one kind of falls in line with Beverly's. Try to think about the other person a little before the date, just so you can cater to the type of questions you're gonna ask. Obviously, you want to know more about this other person and you're trying to figure out whether you guys are a good match. That really comes from thinking within yourself beforehand and then going to the date, rather than just going in. Either two options, either you go in not having thought at all and then now you're just kind of boring with questions, or you go in and you've overthought it with like a roommate or with friends and now you've debriefed every single part of the conversation and it's a bit too much going in. So I feel like just a little thought, okay, what am I really thinking about? What do I want to get to know? What do I like about him or her? Goes a long way.
That's so true. Imagine going on a date and talk to a brick wall.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Yeah.
not cool. It's not fun.
And a lot of it comes from people being like, oh, I was nervous. Well, you were nervous because you didn't study.
With the final exam.
Not like, bro, it is in a sense a test on how well you guys are compatible. And that's a lot of it's gonna come from a first impression. Study for that first impression a little bit better and you'll feel a lot more confident and comfortable going into your date.
My thing is similar to him. Have a list of questions. Have like 5 to 10 of what you want to know about them. Then 5 to 10 like quirky, interesting questions. Spice it up here and there, you know?
Can we get a sample of the
No.
questions?
Why not?
I'm not gonna give up my sauce.
Why am I giving him the sauce and giving him the study guide?
I already gave him the study guide. You gotta study yourself.
This is kind of on topic, but not really. You know what I hate on dates is, or I don't go on dates either, but you know what I hate is when they ask you what you do, like things you do for fun. And we all play squash, by the way. So I'm like, oh yeah, like I play this sport called squash, and they've never heard of it. but immediately they're like, I can beat you.
That's real.
Oh my god.
That's just
I will destroy you.
Flirting competition, bro. That's basically just setting up another date.
Yes and no. I agree with you. Like, I can take it to a certain point. Like, at one point, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, you didn't know what it is. You think you can beat me, haha. At one point, it's like, yo, do you really want to lace up?
Nah, I would be like, there's only one way to find out. Let's go. Yeah, and that's the second date.
But Pablo's secure in his squash ability.
No, he's number one. It all depends on the tone on how they say it. If it's like friendly competition, but if it's like egotistic,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
then no.
Either way, you're going down.
These two used to be the number one in high school.
Nigga, when my name come up, respect it. Let's go. Stop playing with my fucking name. I'll drill y'all.
Hey, we're washed now.
They'll still cook your average Joe.
Okay. I would say back then I didn't really take too much notice with this. Like, it was fine if they did it or if they don't, because you know I've always been independent. I can do it myself. But I find it really attractive that they do gentleman gestures, like open the car door, like the passenger car door for me, or walk on the outside of the sidewalk, hold the door and all that. Back then I used to think like, you know, it doesn't matter, we're just like people, but I feel like there's some intimacy with that.
Okay, not mad at that. I mean, that sounds like you like a chivalrous guy.
You do this?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to. My mama raised me right.
Okay.
You do
like
this?
He said, yeah.
You know what I will say though is that Pablo also does it to his friends. Now, this is a little controversial. I think that the person that initiates the date should pay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is
Yeah.
Okay.
That is not controversial at all. That is
No.
correct.
No, it is controversial because a lot of people think that the guy should always pay. But I think that if a girl were to initiate a date or something with a guy, like they should at least offer to pay.
My next do or don't is very similar to this. But continue.
Inviting someone to go on a date and then be like, oh, by the way, here's a check. I think that's just so disrespectful.
Yeah, very similar. Mine was there should always, no matter who initiated it, there should always be a fight for the check. Like, there should always be oh no, but like, and then whoever initiated it's like, nah, I got you out. Like the person who initiated, who wanted it to happen, like obviously have a bit more oomph in the argument. But like, if you're about to tell me, I'm like, yeah, we should, and then you're like, cool, thank you.
Say they invited you, right? And then you offer, like, no, I'll do it. And they're like, okay, that's all you.
That's my thing. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like if we fight it could literally be the tiniest
No, like,
bit.
she didn't even put up a fight.
Oh, she didn't put up a fight, and she was just like appreciate it. I'm like, I guess I'm a meal point. Like, I'm gonna pay for it, and then I'm gonna drop you off wherever you going.
Would there be a second date?
Probably not.
Probably not, unless the conversation was amazing, and then there are other aspects that we're getting into.
Yeah.
Then, but like just off of that by itself, I'd be a little like shied away. I'd be like, it doesn't seem like she's really cares to be like, no, I really appreciated this, and like I'd be willing to, but I'd be like, no, I also appreciated this, so let me at least get it this time, and then we'll try to figure something out later.
Okay.
Like it just shows a little bit more like care in the moment.
Yeah, on top of that, if there is a second date, the next person should have next.
And that's cool. Like, however y'all want to work that dynamic after, okay. Like in that second time, there's still gonna be a fight anyway. Like there's still gonna be a little like, nah, I got it. You had it last time. You had it. I need that.
Mine is a little similar to that one. Whoever pays for the full meal or whatever the date, the person should pay for the dessert after. So let's say we go to dinner, right? And maybe we get some ice cream and some boba. They'll pay for that ice cream or boba.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm too poor for a part 2. I respect it though.
I like how we're on the same wavelength. It's connected after.
I was just building off. I still got one. Right.
Oh, you still got, okay, go ahead.
Wear comfortable shoes. Please, for the love of God. Stop wearing heels for first dates. If it's not like a high-end fancy place, stop doing that. Because usually what I do is like get a meal, then either get dessert after and walk around, continue the conversation. But if you're in heels, what are you doing?
Hey, why are you judging what they're wearing?
Exactly. What if they can walk in heels? Do you not want it because you don't want them to be uncomfortable if you guys walk, or you don't want them to complain about the heels and then have you give them your shoes?
I'm not. It's crazy.
For the first date, that's crazy. You better
You
walk home, man. You out here taking your shoes off on the street? You a gorilla? Oh,
Hey, nobody want y'all shoes though.
I don't want them to be uncomfortable. Or
yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Our last round. My next one, this is after a date. Say it went well, follow up in like a text. Did you get home safe? Not
Yes.
just cut it dry and then start, you know, the next morning. Ending it off with like a follow-up, it's good.
That's a good game right there.
good game.
I agree. Is it something that always happens? No. And I feel like this is just a good tip.
If it went well, it should continue on text when you both get home. If it's just like no one texts after the date, I would assume that it just didn't go well.
I'm with you. I'm with you
Yeah.
on that boat. If the date don't go well, then after the date, I'm not really thinking about anything related to that date that much. Therefore, I'm probably not texting you until later.
Give it like 2 or 3 hours.
2 or 3 hours.
After the day ends, bro.
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Oh, to make sure that she gets home safe?
No, just let it cool down, let it simmer.
In my head, I've been like, oh, I just
It's
got
done.
ghosted.
It's done. Following up with that is also related to gentleman gestures. I feel like a gentleman would.
Yeah,
text.
at least within like an hour to make sure that she got home safe.
Yeah.
Just to send the text, be like, oh, hope you got home safe. And then you don't have to like
That's a
continue the
fair-
conversation
I
for a
mean,
little bit.
that's just a good text.
Yeah, that was a good one. Mine's gonna seem lame compared to that. Dress to impress. The way you dress really, it's telling of who you are. Because if you really cared about the date, right, you would put a little bit more thought into how you dressed yourself that day.
Question. Now, let's say I am really into like streetwear. So I'm really into like baggy cargos, like the oversized hoodies. I feel like I have that fit on. But when I'm pulling up, it just doesn't seem to fit the vibe. Are y'all still under the impression that like, I don't really like the way this is going? Or is it like, I see the effort?
The way you dress does tell something about your personality, and if it doesn't fit her vibe or her aesthetic, then honestly there doesn't need to be a second date. But if it's impressive for you, then there's nothing wrong with that. But when I say dress to impress, I mean like don't wear like, sweatpants or a hoodie unless that is what you guys like planned to do beforehand.
And
You
the
know what I
hoodie
mean?
is like one of the most important parts.
Don't wear
was-
what you usually wear on a normal basis.
Yeah, elevate it a little bit.
My next tip is don't judge. You're not really there to judge the other person.
Okay.
Like the thought process that you're having isn't to impress the other person or be impressive yourself. You're just meeting this person and seeing if you're compatible, and if not, you guys could just go separate ways. You know, I feel like there's a lot of judgment on how dates go and how they should be going, and I feel like if we set that aside a little bit, we'd have a lot more success.
I like that. I respect it.
No comments.
I feel like that's valid.
That's valid.
It sound.
Like that was it. Period.
Make sure your hygiene is on point. Make sure you are perfumed, cologne, whatever you prefer. Brush your teeth for a date. Make sure you're clean.
Make sure y'all wear deodorant.
Side eye to bed.
Oh.
Okay.
Saying meat is wild in this
You
apartment.
better be kidding.
Take off your socks for a Thank you guys for watching our video on first date dating tips. We post videos every week on Sundays. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that bell notification. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye!